So what you guys are going to be seeing today is, hopefully, after being in class the previous day, you have what is referred to as the double pinch pot. From here, you can turn a double pinch pot into literally anything. This season, fourth quarter at GMS, what we're going to be doing is lawn gnomes. It's gnome season, all right? Now, my lawn gnome is not done. It needs clothes. It needs a little more, foliage or beardage on the chin, under the nose, things like that. But what we're going to be doing today on this little series is trying to figure out how to build up the facial features of your lawn gnome. Your lawn gnome is supposed to have exaggerated features. It's not going to have perfectly balanced, fabulous cheekbones and things like that. It's going to have a honking nose, big, fabulous, bushy eyebrows, a ginormous beard, huge ears, puffy, happy cheeks. So, and how do you get from this to this? All right, so what you don't want to do is you don't want to have a lawn gnome that has facial expressions that are going to haunt your dreams forever. You want a cute, pleasant lawn gnome. Best way to get started. So you got to put a head on this thing. All right, so what you don't want to do is have your lawn gnome look like Marty Feldman. You want your lawn gnome, again, to be nice and cute. So, first things first, we start with the cranium. Now, when you select yourself a chunk of clay, you don't want to have a chunk of clay that's so huge that the head's bigger than the body. You want to find a chunk of clay that is proportionate to the body. So, anything that gets clumped on top here, it has to be hollow. If you were to just put a ball of clay on this and start sculpting, it has all these air pockets in here. Eventually, it's going to explode in the kiln because the air pockets, they want out. So, in order for this to not explode, you need to make another pinch pot. So again, you just jam your thumb in there, determine the depth of your pinch pot, pinch the sides, and you don't want this thing to be really, really thin-walled. You actually want to have a fair amount of meat around it. You just need to hollow it out a wee bit, again, so it doesn't explode in the kiln. So from here, you plop the head on top of the body. It's not going to keep it there, though. You do want to take yourself a modeling tool. Again, I'm a big fan of something that looks like a thumb or a butter knife. And you're going to mold that into the body so it looks like it was naturally put there and not just plopped on top, hoping for the best. From here, that's when you go ahead and you start sculpting the face. Now, what I tell most of my students is that when you guys sculpt the face of these things, you need to keep in mind a human's skeletal or a skull-like structure. You want to build off of your skull, a skeletal structure. So meaning, you can't just roll a bead here and plop it here and call it an eyeball. It's not going to work that way. First, you need to dig out an ocular cavity and then put an eyeball in there. And then put eyebrows on top of the brow bone, build up the cheeks. But first, let's start from the skeleton out. Now, this looks pretty decent. It's plopped on there pretty well. You, of course, can go manipulate the clay some more, but let's just start building. I like to go ahead and have a bunch of different tools because there's different tools for different jobs. And what works best is a smaller modeling tool you can use to dig into the face and to lift up some of this clay to give yourself a nice brow bone. Again, it looks like an alien potato. It's going to look good in a second. Same thing on the other side. Take a little of this, lift it up, and this area in between the ocular cavities here, pinch in the sides, kind of even it out with your fingers. That's what you got. So this is a great space for you guys to put an eyebrow. You can roll a little coil, plop it up there, and make it look hairy looking. I'll show you guys how to do that, but for right now, we got to build up the face some more. I'm a big believer in building up some cheekbones and then a nose and then a chin. And from there you can get real wild. So build up some cheekbones or big puffy cheeks. You quite literally need to just pack on some clay, plop it roughly where the cheeks are, and obviously it can't stay this way. You can use your fingers to blend this in, pack it around the face, adding volume where you want to add volume, and smearing it so it dissipates into the rest of the face and it looks like it just all molds together in one fabulous piece. Okay? And again, this still looks very strange because there's no nose. Now, we'll get there next. I'm a big believer in building from the skeleton out. So now we're adding some muscle. We're adding some of that cheek in there. And next is going to be our nose. Now the nose, you can go in many different directions, but I love a huge nose on a lawn gnome. So in order to start that, I'm going to grab a clump of clay and roll it into a little sphere that it might look like it's too big for the face, and it probably will be, but it'll be awesome for a nose. So roll yourself a little bead and a little moisture up top. Pinch the top so that your nose looks kind of like a candy corn. It's triangular at the top and it's got a bulb at the end. This is the end of the nose. This is the bridge of the nose. And what you can do is you can plop it right on that face and then blend that bridge of the nose, the top of the candy corn, into the forehead. So right now you've got a pretty decent foundation for a fabulous nose on this thing. The nose. All right. So again, don't use your fingers for everything. Go ahead and get a great tool, something that's going to fit in there nicely, and blend your nose into the face. Your thumb is probably too big, so you need to get a modeling tool that's going to do the job for you. So you have this fabulous nose on here. I'm going to throw some nostrils on the side too, just to add extra detail. Nostrils easily done, smaller little beads, little spheres. Plop them right here, left and right. And again, that looks kind of strange. So again, get yourself another modeling tool and blend the nostrils into the larger part of the nose. So it looks like it's all one piece, and it looks like it makes sense then. Just anything, even drawing, just build it piece by piece. You don't have to look at all the crazy details, just go bit by bit. All right, so we got a good start for our nose. I love adding extra details to it, things like a nostril. You can kind of get in there and carve yourself out a really fabulous nostril. Again, you want these to be realistic, but you also want them to look like they're straight out of a fairy tale book. Here we go. What I want to do next, I'm going to start building up the chin. Let's give him a huge chin, and we can have it just look like a lot of character in the face with a big chin. We can have a really great area to build a beard off of. I'll plop some meat there and blend it up. And from here, you can have a beard so burly you don't even have to put a mouth on this guy, because you're going to have all this crazy mustache and beard hair in the way, and you're not even going to see his lips. So that's one detail you don't really have to worry about. Okay, and again, you can change the expression of your gnome. If you don't like the way the eyes are so open, you can kind of like press this down, and you push down the brow bone so it's a little more sad. Again, let's put some brows on this guy. So what I like to do, roll a nice bean like this, and then you cut it to size. All right, plop this right here. I love a huge bushy brow here. We're going to have some, like I said, some distinct characteristics. So that's not going to do it again. Get yourself your modeling tool, blend it into the body, anchor it down onto the face, and really great texturing can happen next. I would say get yourself a pin tool and get in here, and you can start to rough it up a little bit, add some hair, add some wonderful texture. And you can have, again, such bushy eyebrows that go over the ocular cavity you dug out that you don't really even need to put eyeballs in there. So with these lawn gnomes, you can hide a lot of features that you might feel intimidated to do. You can hide a lot of those features with just having your gnome be an extremely hairy gnome. Some crazy brows, an insane beard. And I want my gnome to be singing, something like, I think Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs kind of gnome. Just this one's going to be singing a tune. And then our next little video is probably going to be how to get some facial hair on this guy and a fabulous hat. Oh, all right.